The feud between Trump and Elon just reached a fever pitch, with Elon dropping nothing short of a bombshell against Trump. He took to Twitter writing, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT." Which suddenly makes this video appear in a whole different light.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
Ah, yes, you don't want to affect people's lives if there's phony stuff in there, says the guy who took out a full-page ad in the New York Times to attack the exonerated Central Park Five. Yeah, Donald Trump, protector of the innocent, wants to make sure that he doesn't level any unsubstantiated claims against people, because clearly the presence of someone in those files was worrisome to Trump. I wonder who that might have been. Also, I'm sorry, but what are we doing here, guys? Is any of this really a surprise? How many more photos and videos of Donald Trump and Epstein do we need before we start to acknowledge that perhaps they were more connected than we might have been led on to believe? I gotta give the right credit for one thing. The cognitive dissonance truly is remarkable. They can both attack someone like Jeffrey Epstein to the ends of the earth as the depraved human that he was, while also miraculously excusing Donald Trump for being so obviously and visibly intertwined with him. I mean, my God, if Hillary Clinton was in the same city as Jeffrey Epstein, the right would claim that she was responsible for his entire operation. But you've got Trump literally standing next to the guy in God knows how many photos and videos, photographic and video evidence, and it's wiped from everyone's brains. Listen to Trump's own words while speaking with New York Magazine in 2002. "I've known Jeff for 15 years, terrific guy, he's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life." Yeah, I wonder if Trump knew about Epstein's habits while he was explaining out loud that Epstein's victims were, quote, on the younger side. I don't know, guys. I think the jury's still out on this one. Let's believe Trump when he suggests that Joe Biden died in 2020 and is now a robot. But when it comes time to make a call on Trump's association with Epstein, I think there's simply not enough evidence. Got it. Elon's statement would also explain some, let's call it, tension between what members of this administration were saying before they got into office versus what they're saying now. And I'm talking especially about Dan Bongino. For example, this was Bongino before becoming deputy FBI director when he discussed Epstein.
"I'm telling you, there could be some national security problems here. Because, ladies and gentlemen, nobody knows how much material people have on Jeffrey Epstein. Who was videoed where those videos are. I was told by someone a long time ago, a very knowledgeable reporter, and it's not my information. I'm not hiding. I mean, oh, you're hiding up for some foreign government. You're protecting. I'm not protecting anyone. I'm only telling you what I was told. That some governments around the world may have some material that's related to the Epstein thing. Bill Clinton was knee deep in this, man. I have a very, very good source. I've told you this story. Forgive me for repeating it if you're a P1, but some people are new here and never heard this. He was on the plane with Bill Clinton and Epstein on one of Epstein's planes when Bill Clinton was on the plane with some women who, according to my source, looked underage. Why was my source on the plane? Dan, you know people who hung out with Jeffrey Epstein? No, I don't. He was working. Everyone in the media ignores it, even though this source is still out there.
Says, Epstein's an intelligence asset for people in the Middle East, right? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. I'm like, you sure of that? I'm absolutely sure of that. That he's either a witting or unwitting asset, intelligence asset. There's a big assumption out there that these videotapes were exclusively in the custody of Epstein. That's a huge mistake. The reason they wanted this story to go away is because there's an assumption like, oh yeah, Epstein had him. No, he wasn't the only one who had him, according to this source. These assets, that's why this blackmail story makes so much sense. Which Middle Eastern countries they are, I don't know. Epstein was either a witting or unwitting intelligence asset, and they may have had his plane wired up.
And now, well, This is Bongino's answer when asked why the files haven't been released.
I want answers to the Epstein file issue and what happened.
Yeah.
And I never knew there were 10,000 hours of tapes. And was it suicide? You said there's a tape. Or JFK, RFK, MLK files. All of that is still coming, correct?
Yeah, JFK, we're done. The FBI's equities in that, we've already released that. RFK, I got to check back on that one. There is more coming on the Epstein files. Listen, I know this is a hot potato for folks. I totally understand. My comments were clear. I'm not paid for my opinions anymore. I work for the taxpayer now. I'm paid on evidence. That's it. The evidence we have in our files clearly indicates that it was, in fact, a suicide. We do have video. It's not the greatest video in the world. I don't want to set expectations on fire. However, the video does show in that specific block that he goes in, made a phone call. You'll see 12 hours of guards going to basically check on him, come back. You'll see no one really comes out in that bay, in that area, than him. There's no one in there. When you combine that with the other evidence we will be releasing in the coming weeks, we're still finalizing some of the products. I think it's pretty clear. However, as I've clearly indicated in some of my tweets on my official account, you know, listen, investigations, if new information surfaces in the future on any of these cases, we're always open. I'm just telling you, there's nothing there in the file at all that indicates anything other than, in fact, a suicide.
In light of Elon's comments today, it's pretty amazing to see Bongino squirm on national television explaining why the Epstein files haven't been released yet. We're still finalizing some of the product, he explains, which I suppose is code for my boss is implicated in the files, and so I'm going to delay until hopefully everyone stops asking me about this. So look, will this have any impact on Trump supporters' willingness to carry water for their God King? Maybe for a few people, they realize the extent to which they were lied to, and maybe for a few people, they'll be embarrassed that they stuck their credibility on the line for a guy who very clearly has some pretty problematic baggage in this arena. But if nothing else, it's just one more proof point that this administration was perfectly content to lie to the people who trusted them most, and would have had every intention of continuing to do so if it wasn't for Elon blowing up their spot. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.